Oh, in my head it was the bass line first. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why Paquito showing up there. He's always been a good secondary choice to go for in the EXP lane. However, because of the change to Paquito, especially now,
He's one of the
his
few
second skill
heroes
buff.
who actually just got a clean buff.
Yeah.
in this patch.
Yeah.
It's like you get second skill at level 1. By level 2, there's a good chance if you land your combos, you're winning lane.
Oh, there is.
You should.
And there's the Fred.
Yep.
It's a World Championship winning Fred there for kyletzy. It looks like it's a roam grok from my point of view, and it's an R-lot. I think this is going in the hands of flaptzy.
Looks like we're seeing. Okay, there you go.
No question.
No question about that.
If y'all were watching Series 1 the night, Minana Evos versus TNC, and you saw how Kirk won 2 MVPs back-to-back, y'all watch flaptzy's Arlet.
you're gonna be in for a treat. You're gonna be in for a treat for sure.
Yeah, and this is a tendency that we actually see with lineups that have Claude and Guinevere's. If open, the opposing team will probably pick R-lot. There's just something about, of course, with the speed of Final Slash coming out, the repositioning, and the surprise factor that it brings, it can mess up the entries of Claude's and Guinevere's.
It's too good right now. It's too good. You can throw it on almost any position still, even with the nerfs, and you can never go wrong.
Yeah. Very flexible pickup there. Very dependable. Blacklist International. Okay. I haven't heard that
that was
voice
a
line in
very,
a while.
same.
And it's a new line, too. It's one of those newer lines from New Skins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So Valentina most likely going to be getting. I wouldn't be surprised if this gonna instead of the Eternal Guard, it's actually gonna opt to go for one of the setup.
Yep, Final Slash or Wild Charge.
Or the Wild Charge, yes.
You don't want the light wheels.
I mean, if you want to, I'm not gonna knock people for their choices, but yes,
All
you
right.
wouldn't want that.
So with this said, Blacks International again, they're playing to their identity. These are heroes that are not off of their MO, but for AP Bren, I'd say the fact that it's a Vex on Few makes this a different flavor.
Yeah.
It's not as mobile as again me and Rocket would like to see.
That's true. Again, you kind of look for heroes like the Lilia recently, as of late. Aurora, I'm missing out the Auroras.
The off season was too long.
Yeah,
for
it was
the
just too
Aurora.
long, man. People just did not bite into it.
Huge shout outs to our online viewers who are with us to witness our superstar match of the week, AP Bren and Blacklist International.
And of course, as our way of saying thanks, watch out for the code that you may redeem in your MLBB app for hero skins and tournament chests.
Game number 1 between two legendary organizations. The calm before the storm. Early game priorities, Leo. What do we expect?
I'm expecting that this Grok pick by AP Bren will make Blacklist International consider using their early resources. Again, a flicker for a flicker, but Oakwood still walks away.
Yeah, Rengar basically called it. That's exactly what you got to do the moment you hit that level 2.
Yep.
And yeah, they're making it a possible case for punishment.
Great call there by Blacklist International to tell Edward to be proactive from the lane early on. By the way, focus on Few, the goated idol of the world.
Oh, wait a second.
Almost getting taken down there, but 5 days, 10 hours, and 41 minutes is the total game time of Few in MPL PH Season 1.
He's a
5
season
days?
oneer. I mean, you counted the total hours.
Total hours, yes.
That's right. Okay, so that's 2 flickers off the board for AP Bren, 1 from Blacks International, and they already have, but what, a 200, 300 gold lead. Looking at their items, folks, please do not mind that. I'm pretty sure we will have to jog the system to get the actual items, but something to note about emblems. Check out Tensui, rocking that concussive blast. Something tells me he wants to expedite lane clears and camp clears so they can be part of fights sooner.
That means Blacklist definitely going to want to play it closer to the chest here. You can see flaptzy, US close by, he's there fine.
Goodness.
Forces the flicker out of flaptzy, but he goes for the re-engage. Sensui has a 1v1 as well of kyletzy. There goes the Eternal Guard. And those guards just going to have to find their own ways back to their masters, going back to the turtle.
Neither team suffering a death. Yue, Hadji walking in Sensui in the middle of this turtle fight.
Yeah, looking really good here. Obviously secured by Blacklist International. What a masterclass for clashes.
Well, Rockhard, earlier you mentioned for AP Bren, flaptzy in the EXP lane just doing really well. Right now, again, we are reminded of the change to Paquito and how strong he is in the early game. Great for junglers, even better if you're landing your abilities with their EXP laner, against the opposing EXP laner. And Blacklist International are really putting pressure as well onto flaptzy's lane.
And that's the right thing to do, I think. Given AP Bren's lineup, besides Ogwin and maybe kyletzy, not many of them will actually have any actual impact up until the mid game. Looking at Super Marco, you want items on that carry. Looking at Flap, you can sustain, but there's really no source of damage or follow through unless it's a big fight. So AP Bren's waiting for that, for the right response, for the right timing.
And I'm really loving this Yua pick. You can see why they pick it up on last.
Yeah.
Great answer with either Wild Charge, Eternal Guard. He can do basically anything here. And maybe a Final Slash. You never know what's going to come out of Yua. Gotta watch out for that for AP Bren.
Yeah. Right now, Hogan forced to go back out. Easy, trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, kyletzy will definitely be able to dance out this one.
Yeah.
Wild Charge on the Yue. Here are the items real quick. That's Oheb up on Marco's gold by about 200, 300. And that's a huge chunk of the gold lead actually standing on both teams. But look at that, Marco actually barely on forward. The ult catches Ogwin.
Good damage from Sensui, but there you go. That's what you get. Obviously, it's still a tank Guinevere when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. You can't do it with a 1v1 yet.
You see here the struggle for the Arlott. And the slight struggle for AP Bren, although they have a good amount of control for them right now. Seems like Blacklist are timing their abilities a little bit better, maximizing them, I think would be the better word, because they're controlling the tempo that AP Bren usually likes to set.
Yep, and it's because of space. It's the fact that their lineup is just more mobile, it's just more agile, and at this point in the game, it's the re-engages that matter. It's not exactly the actual secures. Not like this, see? You're not going to get the skill, and it's so hard to confirm the skill unless you waste your ults, your resources, and that's where Blacklist wins. These little inches.
Oh, Edward trying to go for the temp check here, but will be trapped in with the huge barrier here. But Blacklist members getting quite low. kyletzy as well might force him to back off. Ogwin, flaptzy, will they pull the trigger? Yue seems one taking kyletzy with retribution. Getting that turtle. Blacklist on the back here.
The game of ages continue!
And there you go. Sensui just not in the position to contest. There goes first blood for AP Bren.
Oh, they're still going to be continuing it. What?
Non-stop action here. Hadji falling as well. flaptzy gets the first 2 kills of the game.
Isn't this what you talked about here, Leo? The rope-a-dope, that little re-engage that AP Bren love to do and do so well?
That's right, and they understood that Blacklist can do it very well with this roster, with this lineup. But AP Bren played it to a point wherein after that turtle, they used the advantage that was taken from the turtle kill. Damage on kyletzy, extra shields on everyone, and again, a game of inches, nay, millimeters that allow for AP Bren to add up these little advantages into eventually 2 kills and a major objective. Now, there's a relatively big lead when it comes to engagement in space.
Yeah.
Yep, speaking of engagement, US seems to want to see if he can get some damage off of kyletzy, but Hadji is actually not going to be able to close it up. Neil and Fury not in range yet. AP Bren, they are walking defense here, and they catch Ogwin! Ogwin might be in trouble here. Wild Charge is out of the way, and Yuen not going to have the abilities to close the gap.
Woo. Master Ogwin able to get out of that. Now, an interesting thing that happened actually right before that was in the middle lane. You can see the health of that middle tower for Blacklist International.
Oh boy.
Low. On a rotational choice by Few and kyletzy after getting that win in the orange side of the jungle of Blacklist International, went to the mid, and now Blacklist will have to worry because of when that tower falls and AP Bren are in control, then AP Bren are going to start playing that AP Bren game of smothering you in the mid.
It's a major artery, and honestly, it was paid for by Ogwin. Ogwin was willing to die for that push, but he didn't. That's what it is.
Yeah, kyletzy and Sensui just facing off against each other. Your flicker used by Edward. That Paquito might have some trouble re-engaging, especially reaching Super Marco here at the back, who is working on this turtle right now.
And that's it. Yeah. kyletzy secures once more, and I think Blacklist understand that we can't let that first turtle take happen again. And kyletzy pushing the advantage.
Yeah, just keeping at it, making sure that Blacklist don't have much room to breathe here on the bottom side of the map. Oheb just not quite ready to take the fight just yet.
So, what started off as a rough time in the EXP lane for flaptzy and AP Bren eventually turned into, well, even there. But definitely the major artery of the game in the mid lane broken by AP Bren. That's one of their main comforts. And Oheb is also struggling in the gold lane up against Super Marco that just got broken down. So this is now the AP Bren timer of that mid-game power spike.
Yeah, calling back here, one of the safest carry gamers in the world. In Season 10, in his debut season, only didn't die?
That's right. No.
Or died once.
He had a 6 or 7 game win streak.
7-game win streak
Right
on the carry.
before carry was actually fully on meta.
Yeah.
It was Super Marco was pushing the propaganda, and it actually happened. And now with that said, he may be up on Oheb, maybe just 300, 400 gold, because again, Oheb hasn't died. But just the same, the map is not looking good for Blacklist.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's touchable at all here. Even Edward gonna have a hard time reaching Super Marco right now.
All right, so now the question is for Blacklist International. How do you come back from this? Are you really just dependent on that power spike of the Claude? Is there something that you can do to punish AP Bren?
One thing you can say is definitely wait for Oheb to get his Trinity and then try to go deep into the back line, take down few, find the window wherein Marco can die. But, well, the priorities, number one, get some farm.
Wow.
On Oheb. And I don't know if this Blacklist International has the anti-disaster protocol in them. It's in the programming, it's in the code, but they need to consider that too, because I think Sensui's not eating very well.
Yeah, he's struggling. He just got a purple buff taken from under his nose here. Lord, gonna come up. Rockheart. It's not that far in gold, so Blacklist can contest, but should they?
That's a big question, isn't it? Even if Sensui gets in, the damage is quite negligible, and everyone just can get out, even with the capture here. So, yeah, I guess that's a big question, Blacklist. Is Oheb ready? Will Sensui go straight for Few or something? Because Super Marco is just an unanswered answer right now. Oh.
This is a dance if I've ever seen one, gentlemen.
Yeah, the closest we got to an old school Lord dance, a little bit more new-gen version of it. Quick reset.
Yeah, faster pace. Yeah, there you go.
You actually see the two teams managing the minion waves in mid and bottom first before they prioritize and trying to jockey for position.
Edward's on top, Sensui getting into position, maybe to get into a good Violet Requiem, but then again can be easily punished here by Super Marco.
Ooh, second soft reset of this Lord Dance elapsed maybe 30, 40 seconds in now, and they maintain the HP. It's still there, half health.
The Lord Dance of Fold, still waiting for who's going to pull the trigger. Not exactly in position. Here comes AP Bren.
Yeah, that's a beautiful wall here, making sure that no one can actually answer, except maybe for a good Violet Requiem. And we're seeing it right now, but the effect is just not being felt here. Edward from the back. Kaltizi still gets a retribution. Ogun goes down. The collapse is beautiful here for Blacklist.
That's
Going
a very expensive
here.
Lord. A 3 for 2.
Oh boy, and one more to boot. Maybe flaptzy can make it, but Super Marco, make sure there's damage to boot. Oheb close by as well, but no ultimate means it's a no-go.
All right, it's messy, it's scrappy, but I'd say both teams walked away with an exchange that they're willing to walk away. This is what you call a negotiation, when neither party is happy, but they walk away with what they got.
They got something.
Oh,
they got
all right.
something.
Something to note about that fight, right? The only reason why it ended in a trade like that is because Oheb came in from all the way top, put stacks on his Art of Thievery first, and then engaged. And then after you saw Lord go down to the 8 or 9K mark, that's the point of no return. And that was just the perfect timing for them to come in and then punish, get the first 2 kills on AP Bren, trade for Blacklist, eventually another kill for AP Bren, and then Blacklist gets one, and then the Lord got taken from there.
flaptzy just missed the final slash. AP Bren did get the Lord. Blacklist minimized their losses, but they are going to be dropping towers as AP Bren continue to push forward. Key item pickups, Few with the Divine Glaives. Sensui with the entry goes back.
They're seeing maybe they can make some more happen here, but no. Missing out on some crucial jumps here. Edward also trying to get a backline access going, but it's just no-go if you're going for Super Marco.
Step by step, AP Bren are taking what's free on the map. They did not force the issue for bottom lane inhibitor, so they took mid tier 2, orange buff, top tier 2, and then with that, Blacklist are now cordoned off inside their own base. It'll be lucky if maybe Edward or Oheb can actually find farm elsewhere, but that'll be very, very difficult. Like, see here now, Agent Zero, he has to consider going home. He can't split push like this. I think AP Bren is on his chase.
Oh yeah, running back. As you see there, because of the presence of Agent Zero in some key team fights, that's where the heart of their counter punish, their counter collapse will come from. The entry of Edward and the Paquito. And two things that Sensui and Hadji have been doing really well is actually maximizing their control, which is why AP Bren can't get that picture-perfect team fight that we're known for them to have. Even though we see the positioning that is classic AP Bren, the dominant performance in a team fight, it's getting controlled really well by Blacklist International.
If you're AP Bren, you're just looking at, you know what, Leo's right. They're going to have a lot of team fight access here from the back with Edward, but if you are AP Bren, you're also thinking, you know what, keep an eye on Edward, we should be good. So our front is pretty much covered.
Yeah, something else to note, I think they have to keep tabs on Edward's flicker timer.
Yep.
Again, now it's clear for us to see 40 seconds in, but that's not going to be enough time for until the Lord spawns in about 20. So there'll be a, 10, 15-second window wherein AP Bren is free of any threat from Agent Zero. So I wonder if they're playing that well now, especially since they're setting up the long lane here in bottom.
Yeah, not just to avoid his threat, but also to find a way to punish him for not having a flicker up, but he's going to the opposite side of the map. I don't think AP Bren will find that opening. They get first positioning in the Lord. Oh, have got the orange buff there.
Waves look super good right now, and looks like it is a go for AP Bren. Super Marco up front,
Wow.
and a huge entrance here for flaptzy. Nice request, or nice answer here for Requiem, but Edward is also going to be put up very, very low.
When changing takes a face full of light wheels. Now Lord down to a fifth of his health.
Oh, he's getting ready to go in maybe, but a wild charge from Owen stops him out. Yoei goes down as well, but Edward takes out Few. It's a reset on the Lord, but look at him. kyletzy, Super Marco, they're taking him out. They are wreaking havoc on the Blacklist front line.
What looked like a huge fight for the Lord turned into just, you know what? Let's just fight. A good turn by both teams. A good decision there. AP Bren will win that Lord out, and now they're going to be marching towards top.
Deja vu. It was just but weeks ago that Blacklist had to face the Turkish flaptzy eSports, and it was in the very same moment.
Oh my God!
Oh!
That was...
Now, that's just the firepower talking. That's just about the 4K, 5K gold lead that AP Bren has.
That's Marco Maniac right there. That wasn't a maniac, but you know how he can play.
It felt like a maniac.
Felt like a maniac. That's what matters.
Fun fact about Super Marco, most kills in MPL Philippines Season 12. 128, also the highest kills per game and GPM and gold per game. Super Marco showing why he is one of the best, if not the best gold laner in the world right now.
He's on his way to most kills now. Again, he's credited for about half of all of AP Bren's kills at this point. And again, was it not this same carry that wasn't doing anything much past the 6 or 7 minute mark of this game? He was very quiet. He needed that mid-game power spike, and now they're playing off of inevitability. Looking at the item builds, Amai, is that right? Is Sensui building hybrid?
Seems so. I think they are feeling that big lack of some damage, maybe, into what we can only expect when the Violet Requiem comes in. They're just not getting what they want. Now they are going to have to face the brunt of the AP Bren's front line.
Here comes AP Bren, looking to seal game one right here, but kyletzy gets caught. Sensui goes
Very
back.
happy in. Sensui with the back here. Lord is on top. Waves are getting cleared up, but will it be enough? Hadji goes in with Fury, and it's only going to be a few people coming up here, and AP Bren are ready to go for it once more. AP Bren have to defend the front line, and the back line against Edward, and he's going to go, and that just might be it. Sensui will not have enough firepower to stop this. It's 1-0.
Good start. Great start for the reigning champions of the world.